Are you getting ready to take the Praxis 5358 Gifted Education exam? Maybe I can help. My name is Bob, and I'm a test prep expert with Study.com. In this video, I'll walk you through everything that is on the test, how best to prepare, and my top strategy tips. In short, we'll make sure you're as ready as possible for the big day. All right? Let's jump in. Praxis 5358 tests whether you have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to teach as an educator for gifted students and whether those qualifications meet national standards. In general, those who have a graduate degree in the education of gifted students are best suited to take this praxis. Examinees with experience planning and providing gifted services generally do well on this test. Praxis 5358 gives 2 hours for the exam with 120 multiple choice or selected response questions. The exam includes questions that cover the following categories. 1. Development and characteristics of gifted students, with 25 questions that cover 21% of the exam. 2. The learning environment for gifted students, 23 questions that take up 19%. 3. Instruction of gifted students at 33 questions and 28% of the praxis. 4. Identification and assessment of gifted students containing 22 questions that take up 18% of the exam. And 5. Professionalism with 17 questions and 14%. Most of the selected response questions will have a single correct answer, but some of these multiple choice questions will have one or more correct answers. You can identify these questions by the phrase, "select all that apply." There are a few other types of questions that are less common, including some with click and drag elements and some with audio or video prompts. So my first strategy tip is to aim for about 50 seconds per selected response question so you have a cushion for harder questions. My second strategy tip is related. Skip the selected response questions if they are taking a long time. You can always come back to them later on, but you don't want to spend all your time too early. Make sure to answer every question before you turn in your exam. And remember, if you've read the question multiple times, gone through your process of elimination, looked for all possible context clues, and still don't know what the right answer is, don't be afraid to guess. There's no penalty for guessing, and you have a 25% chance of getting the answer right. So now that we've covered the basics, let's dive into some test specifics. Praxis 5358 examines your knowledge and competencies around working as an educator for gifted students. This is an important and often overlooked subject area, so this exam is a great starting point if you want to get into this field. On a related note, here's my third study tip. If you have any prior formal education or advanced training in education for gifted students or some similar field in pedagogy, be sure to draw upon that knowledge and review your material to prepare for Praxis 5358. The exam aligns with the NAGC-CEC Teacher Preparation Standards, a nationally recognized measure of competency, so you'll need all the advantages you can get. All that said, let's now take a look at the 5 question categories. In development and characteristics of gifted students, the first section, you'll demonstrate your understanding of the developmental stages and unique characteristics of gifted learners. You'll also need to know about the various traits and behaviors commonly associated with giftedness and how these characteristics impact educational needs and interventions. So expect to cover topics such as cognitive development, social and emotional characteristics, and how giftedness manifests across different age groups. For example, you might get asked about common characteristics for gifted students during early childhood. Learning environment for gifted students, the second section, examines how well you can meet the needs of gifted learners through designing, creating, and modifying optimal learning environments. You'll be asked about instructional strategies, classroom management techniques, and the role of the learning environment in fostering creativity, intellectual stimulation, and social emotional development. For instance, you may be presented with a list of possible strategies to address the environmental needs of gifted learners, and you'll need to pick the best one. Instruction of gifted students, the third section, will examine your understanding of effective instructional practices for gifted learners. You'll need to know about evidence-based instructional methods that challenge and engage gifted students while promoting deep learning and critical thinking skills. So expect questions relating to curriculum design, differentiation strategies, enrichment activities, and the use of technology to enhance learning. The fourth section, Identification and Assessment of Gifted Students, focuses on methods and tools for identifying and assessing gifted and talented students. For this section, you need to know how to use assessment data to inform instructional planning and support the diverse needs of gifted learners. So you'll likely need to answer questions about various assessment techniques, including formal and informal assessments, as well as issues related to fairness, bias, and cultural considerations in identification and assessment processes. For instance, you may be presented with 4 assessment methods and asked which of the 4 is an informal one, as opposed to a formal one. Read carefully. Professionalism, the 5th and last section, will test your knowledge of professional standards, ethics, and leadership roles in the field of gifted education. This question group relates to the importance of professionalism, lifelong learning, and continuous improvement in supporting the educational needs of gifted students. So you'll encounter questions asking about legal and ethical considerations, advocacy for gifted learners, collaboration with colleagues and families, and professional development opportunities. Though there are separate question categories for organization purposes, each question will require you to access combined areas of knowledge to get it right. So for my 4th study tip, don't shoehorn yourself into a specific line of thinking. Just because a question is located in the professionalism category, that doesn't mean it won't involve some element of identifying gifted students too. The Praxis 5358 covers the full range of topics that educators for gifted students need to be familiar with. And there's a lot to go over. And maybe it's been a while since you thought about how to create curriculum or an effective learning environment. So what's the best way to prep? The official exam guide, available on praxis.ets.org, has a detailed list of topics on the exam as well as discussion questions to get started. Look for the Praxis Study Companion Gifted Education 5358 PDF document. These questions help you think deeply about the topics and their application in the classroom and ensure that you know them thoroughly. However, I recommend starting your prep with a full-length practice test. Study.com's test prep course offers multiple, so that you can identify where you need to spend most of your study time. Don't worry about your score the first time around. You are just trying to figure out where you need to focus. Study.com will generate a study plan with top priorities for you. If you use other test prep materials, you may need to analyze your practice results manually. Watch lessons to review the topics in your study plan and do practice problems or make flashcards to transfer the material to your long-term memory. And take heed of my last study tip. Practice, practice, practice. There is no substitute for working through sample questions that mirror those that you will face on test day. Every practice question that you do is going to help you be that much more prepared. Need a concrete prep recommendation? I highly recommend Study.com's Praxis 5358 Gifted Education Prep course. It covers everything that I just went through, but in a ton more detail. The course, written and vetted by former teachers, also includes short-form videos for every relevant concept and a bank of high-quality practice questions with answer explanations. And what's more, users who complete the course have a 92% pass rate on the test. If this video helped you, check out the other videos in this and other series for more Praxis test prep. And please, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when new teacher test prep content drops. Are there specific tests or questions that you want us to cover? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to circle back once you have passed your test so that we can all celebrate with you. Good luck.